Hey, my name's James Nicholson. Welcome to my channel. Let's talk about the Leasehold Reform Bill. What's happening since the King's speech? There's an update on that here, and I want to go through exactly what this bill means, where it's at right now, because things are moving a little faster than you might have expected. It was very interesting. The video we did on the Leasehold Reform Bill had 220,000 views, 2,000 comments, 10,000 likes. It was absolutely insane. And a lot of those comments were saying, this is something that won't pass. This is something that is not actually going to happen. But there's a big update this week on that. So before we jump into that, if you could do me a favor, I'm trying to get to 17,000 subscribers. All you need to do is smash that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. And while you're here, smash the like button, tickle the like button, do something, because that really helps more people. Let's get 200,000 people watching this, and share this video with your friends and family that want to get an update. So what is the update? Well, this bill has already hit the Houses of Parliament. They're already debating it this week. That's fast, especially in government terms. A lot of people felt that this bill was just talk, it might not happen, but they're acting on this pretty quickly, and that's a positive sign. So let's talk about what's actually in the bill at the moment as it stands, and what does this mean for us. I do need to look down on some notes that I've got here. So at the moment, there are millions of properties that are a leasehold property. And the problem is that some of the freeholders, so you have the freeholder is the person that owns the land. If you have a house, most houses are freehold. You own the land that it's on. But if you're in a flat, obviously there's lots of people stacked up on top of each other. Someone must own the land that it's on, and that's the freeholder. Now, the freeholder, historically, sometimes in some places has not been particularly fair to the leaseholder. So what happens is you get a lease on a property, on a flat, or it could be a house, and that could be granted for 90 years, 990 years. There's all different terms depending on what deal was agreed initially. And where you start to get problems is where that lease starts to expire. Now you might think, well, that's the end of the lease. Maybe you got 4 or 5 years left. That's a problem. But it starts very, very early. And as soon as your property has less than 80 years left on the leasehold, it's deemed as a short lease. In that scenario, you will struggle to get a mortgage. It's got better recently because of this incoming new legislation that's going to happen, but it has been for a lot of times. If you went back 2 or 3 years ago, there was almost no lenders. Now there's 8, 9, 10 people that have looked and created specialist products for this. So a short lease is a problem. Now, also, if the lease is what we call short and less than 80 years, any increase in the lease will cost significant amounts of money. So let's just say we had £100,000 flat, and that's what the value is with a normal lease. Now let's just say it's got a short lease, so the value of that flat drops significantly to £70,000. Now, if you extend the lease, that means it will go back up to the £100,000. So when you extend it, they look at it and they say the value that you would create by extending this lease is £30,000. That's the value that you would gain. So how they determine how much it should cost to increase the lease is something called marriage value. They say that you're going to get £30,000 in equity in value in your property by extending this lease. So to do that and extend the lease, you need to pay the landlord half of this value increase, which means in this scenario, the lease would cost you £15,000 to extend. Now, that's a lot of money, and that has really been seen as an unfair thing. Imagine if you have a flat in Kensington or Chelsea or anywhere in London where a lot of the flats are. This can get very expensive. And on my last video, there was tons of comments of people saying, I've just paid £50,000, £60,000, £100,000 to extend my lease. And I just feel that it was really, really unfair. So what they're proposing is that marriage value will be gone. Now, it's not going to be totally gone. It's not going to be totally gone. It is going to be a new version of it. They haven't given us the exact calculations, and that's what they'll be thrashing out when they're working on the bill and getting it through. But they did give an example. So I'm going to link to the blog post that I've done on this, and that gives you the example whereby the extension of a lease is about half the cost. So it's not going to cost you 15 grand. In that scenario, it might cost you 7. It's still going to be relatively expensive, but much cheaper than it ever has been. And that's the thing here. You've got to understand that they can't just totally abolish marriage value, because the freehold has some value. And if you took it down to 0, that would be worth 0 as well. So they can't quite do that. So marriage value is something that they're looking at here. Now, normally when you extend a lease, you get the right to extend it for 90 years, right? Which might be okay. But that also, for some people, could go short in their lifetime again. So what they're saying now is 90 years isn't enough. We need to allow people to extend it by 990 years. So all new lease extensions, once this bill passes, it's not passed yet, but it's now being debated and talked about and worked on. That's the important thing. It was something happening in the King's Speech. Now it's moving forward. This is a good thing, right? This is a good thing. So 990 years will be the lease extension, which means you'll never have to extend it again. Your kids will never have to. Their kids will never have to. And so on and so on and so on. It makes it close to being freehold, but it's not freehold. But this is good. Now, ground rent. This part was already done. There is a discussion happening in this bill that will be decided by December the 21st this year. And that's a discussion if ground rent should be abolished. Now, it's not looking as likely for that to happen. When it is abolished, though, is if you do a lease extension, you take it from 80 years to 990 years. In that scenario, when you get a refresh lease, your ground rent will be abolished, which is good news. However, if you just have a lease and you might be paying £500 or £1,000, or some of you are paying £2,000 a year in ground rent, that's not just going to be abolished just like that. It will only be abolished if you extend the lease. There is a discussion, though, remember, by this December 21st this year, if they can find a way that means all ground rent will be abolished, which is a good thing. So there's a chance on that one still coming through as well. Houses. Now, you do get houses that are freehold. Most apartments, flats, condos, whatever you want to call it, they're leasehold in the UK. Houses, it's around 5% of them are leasehold. New builds, these Barratt developments and Wimpy homes and that kind of stuff, right? And so they are now not allowed to sell new leasehold houses. That is abolished. So leasehold is abolished for new houses. If you live in a leasehold house already, that is not going to be abolished. Just to be very clear on that, it's new property. So it is abolished for new houses, which is good as well. So that's a good thing here. Let me see what else is going on here. Service charges. This is a good one. You guys will like this. So many people in the comments on the video with 200,000 views talked about service charges, how unfair they are. And I agree. Now they have to be way more transparent with service charges, because what the managing agents do is they get the insurance from the one that gives them the best commission. So you're not always getting the cheapest insurance for your property, for the building's insurance, right? Or the land that it's on or the estate that it's on. You're not getting the best deal. They're choosing the one that pays them the best commission. Now they can't do that. And so that will be a big difference in there on that one. And so we'll get more transparency. They will only be able to charge a fee for extending the insurance, like 500 quid for sorting out the insurance, rather than they're getting massive kickbacks of thousands of pounds. What will also happen is they have to have transparency. Did they earn any money from any contractor that they got to do work on your property? Because in flats, you get people that decorate the hallways, right? I could get a decorator to decorate in apartments that I've got, the hallways, for 500 quid. But their bill's always coming at £5,000. And that's because the contractor is giving them a kickback of £1,000 or £2,000 for getting them the job. They have to be transparent about that now, and you will have more say over being able to stop that happening. That's going to be very, very good. It's also going to be cheaper for leaseholders to take over the management of their building. So the managing agents, you will now be able to get rid of them if you don't want them. This is very good news because there's a lot of bad managing agents that do no work, collect huge fees and cause big problems. So that is another positive thing. So there's some more stuff to go through, but as we've got about halfway through this video, smash the like button if you didn't do already, and please do share this video. You must know somebody that's got a leasehold property. Share this on Facebook, share this on Instagram, share this in your WhatsApp messages with your friends and family. That will really, really help this video get some more views. I want to get the message out on this. Let me know in the comments if you shared it. That means you're a legend. Thank you for doing that. Next, what else is going on? So there'll be ombudsmen that help with lease extensions. That's going to be important. They want to make it so it's easier and quicker to sell leasehold properties. There's so many checks that happen when you sell a property. By having like more uniformity on leases, on service charges, and all of this stuff, it's gonna make selling the property cheaper and faster. That's very, very important. What else is this is a good one. So when you extend your lease now, today, you have to pay for the freeholder's solicitor. You pay for your solicitor and their solicitor as well. That's not really fair. So that's getting scrapped. Moving forward, you'll just be paying for your legal costs. Way better. That is going to be a good thing as well. Banning insurance commissions, we've talked about that. Banning leasehold houses, we've talked about that. And that's pretty much it. It's way better than this has been. I think that what I'd like to say on this as well is that when the King's Speech happened, they talked about so many things that they want to do in the next year or so. The fact that this is already being introduced as a bill is very good news. It's very quick for that to happen. The King's Speech was less than a month ago, and already we're now being presented with this bill. So it's now being worked on, so we can start going through amendments. Certain parties want to make this stronger. The Labour Party is threatening that they will abolish leasehold totally. That puts more pressure on the Conservatives to do something serious about this. They've got the election to lose, so it's in their interest to pass this bill, get it done, get it implemented, and give us a little bit more clarity. Because what will happen is leasehold property sales might slow down now. Lease extensions will slow down now because people will be waiting to see what happens from this. But that's a big update today. It's in Parliament already. That's very good news. It's progressing along as we would expect and hope. That doesn't happen very often in government. So do give me a like on the video if you like this. Do share the video. As we said, subscribe, hit the bell because you don't want to miss the next updates as we've got them. Do comment below with your thoughts on this. Do you think this is actually going to get done? Or do you think it's going to take till the next Parliament, till the next election to get sorted? I'd love to know your thoughts on this. Do check out some other content on my channel. Why don't you go and watch this video right here?